Hey guys, I know it's been a long time. Line 59. I've had a lot to think about, a lot to pond over in these last couple months. Just know that I'm doing just fine. 117 games and counting. Um, this first vid is going to be a Carthege file. And it's simply about, you know, I tend to have a problem as a gamer when I see a game like 13-2, Final Fantasy 13, Part D, and 13. And I tend to have a problem with these overactive, over super, hyper crazy fanboys. So says the one that's such a Ryoko fan that anytime that I hear any kind of Ryokian news, I tend to have a nerdgasm and I tend to go freaking off the deep end, but that's neither nor there. But I want this video to speak specifically to the Final Fantasy fans of the world. What's wrong with 13? Tell me what is wrong with the world and the game of 13. What's wrong with it? Because obviously, you people live in a time warp. An endless time warp that ends somewhere around 1997, 98-ish, when Final Fantasy 7 hit the stores, and you all went gaga over it, and you consider it the best Final Fantasy ever. Newsflash, it's overrated! I mean, Final Fantasy X is better than 7. Final Fantasy 13, 1, and Deuce that I've just started playing are better than 7. You want to know why they're better than 7? Because the story's better. I mean, what's your big hook? Guy with a William Dunbar shank running around, and oh yes, chick dies at the end? Spoiler for the 5 of you who haven't played 7 yet. Sorry, I had to spoil it for the 5 of you in the audience that has never played the game before. I I find it ludicrous how fans of the Super Series tend to put these benchmarks up and they're completely blind as to the future or to the quality of the next game. I mean, the only Final Fantasy game that I know of in recent memory that was a joke was 10-2. I mean, 10-2 was laughable, but for you to sit here and not give 13 its due, or 13-2, and I know you're not hardcores, I know you're not, because every time I go to IGN, or every time I go to YouTube, or every time that I read a review of Final Fantasy games, It follows with this quote, and as follows. It follows, game is either bad or good. It was a decent Final Fantasy, but I wish they would remake Final Fantasy 7 already. And every time that a remake question is asked by G4 or any kind of media that says, what's the one game you want remade? Final Fantasy 7 always ends up at the top of the list. And I sit there, I face palm my eyes like this. And I literally go, why? You do realize Final Fantasy VII came at a time where RPGs were in this massive transition, right? Where now the technology of the time allowed for a deeper, more cinematic story experience. Final Fantasy is that proverbial game that caught lightning in a bottle, was a defining moment, and made its point known. Most series get that once. One time. Most series get that one time, and then it never happens again. Case in point being, the Crash Bandicoot series, Silent Hill supposedly has not been as good as since 2, and most series only get that defining moment once. Final Fantasy has had that defining moment for close to 25 years. The original game by itself has been a defining moment in the history of RPGs, and need I remind you, without the success of the first one back on the NES, we're not having this conversation. Final Fantasy VII is not made, and Square Enix is at the bottom of a gravesite, which unfortunately THQ is headed in that same direction, but different topic for different day. But over the last 25 years or so, close to it, Final Fantasy has made a lifetime of these big defining moments. 13 marked a transitional period in the franchise that had never been done. It marked a multiplayer or a multi-platform transition, which that was the first time it was ever done, and it marked the first Final Fantasy with true storytelling, good writing, a good arc. The story for the first time in practically forever was the star of the show, not the subquest, not the menial task. It's about storytelling and about character. That's where 13 succeeded above all else, let alone the Paragram and the Crystallarium system. Kicked major ass. Yes, it's a little bit behind the times due to games like Skyrim and Mass Effect. But for you people that want your 7 back, it's not coming back. And need I remind you, Square Enix did 2 sequels and a movie to appease you stupid people, and you didn't buy neither of the three. And yet Final Fantasy 7's birthday was just 2 weeks ago, and you celebrate it as if it's a god. It's not even the best game in the franchise. Not even close. I put 10 at number 1. And I never played 10. And just by looking at it, I could tell it's the best game in the franchise. 7 is overrated. You're not going to get that remake back. And even if you did get it back, be careful what you wish for. Gaming remakes are usually a hit or miss thing. They usually don't work. So before you people go on your message boards screaming on how 7 is still the superior product, do your brain, do your heart a favor, and let go. Because I guarantee if you let go, you drop your emotional marriage, you'll be much better for it. Much, much better for it. And you'll get to see that Final Fantasy moving forward is just gonna be, it's gonna be okay.